What's up, B Squad? It is your boy JB, and we are here today with the review for Ready to Love, Season 7, The Reunion, Part 1. You guys, so before we go ahead and get into this episode, if you guys are watching this video or any other video on the channel and you guys aren't subscribed yet, what are we doing, you guys? Stop taking me out on this date and having me pay for it at the end of it. You guys know you can do me a favor by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and turning on your post notifications and sharing the video. And with that out the way, without further ado, let's discuss Ready to Love. Shall we? All right, you guys. So next week, I do believe I am going to go live. I'm not going to do the review live, but I do feel like what I'm going to do is next week, next Saturday, next Friday, I'm going to try to do the review the same night that the episode, after the episode goes off. And then Saturday afternoon or so, maybe about noon or 1, I'm going to go live. We can come on here. We can talk about it. I do have to DM Tony to see when he's free to come on here and have a little conversation with me about Ready to Love. Tony, I know you're watching. You can also hop in the comments. You can hop in you can DM me and let me know what your availability is because I know you're watching. Yeah, you guys, next Saturday we're definitely gonna go live because part 2 of the reunion looks to be a little bit spicy, and we gonna see. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into this review. So I don't know what the dress code was for the reunion, because some people look like they are going to a disco ball, right? Some people look like they're going to a prom. Others, I don't know where they were going. So there were just so many different color patterns, designs, all on that stage. It was interesting. So season 7 has wrapped up of Ready to Love Miami. So Tommy, I was listening to my boy Tommy. I'm like, oh my God. Not Tommy, is Horace. Y'all, Tommy was Horace. So we showed the package of the fact that, Tommy threw in the curveball of the second chance, right? Where the men had the opportunity, if they want to save one of the women from being eliminated, and the women vice versa, right? Now we all know the women did use the second chance, and they ended up saving Mark Anthony. The men let it expire, and they didn't save not a person, right? So Morgan felt like they should have used it to save Jonique. Honestly, I do agree that they should have saved Jonique, right? Because I don't think Jonique should have went home. But I feel like either way it went, I feel like Jonique probably still would have went home at some point, because I don't think really Jonique had many connections, because Blake didn't like her. I don't think really any of the men that were left really liked her like that. We'll talk about that in a few minutes, but I think that they could have used it to save Jonique, but I don't think that Jonique would have made it much further, if we're being honest with each other. So Demario, he said, well, I want to use it on Corvea. We know, but Corvea wouldn't. And I think that's the other thing with the men. I think if the men had used that second chance, any woman that they would have used it on, I don't think that they would have made it very far. The only woman that I feel like if the men had used it, she would have still went as far as she did, was Pick Me Susu. That's the only person. But again, I want you guys to tell me what you think down in the comment section, and let's pause here and move forward. All right, you guys. So we talk about Jeffrey and her many connections this season, right? I didn't realize Jeffrey had so many connections, but I do remember that I had been saying all season that with Jeffrey was playing a long game. So we all know that Jeffrey made it to the finale, and that Jeffrey and Andre decided that they were ready to love. Well, they were ready to pick each other, right? They weren't ready to love, but they were ready to pick each other. First question that I have is, what in the hell does Jeffrey have on this storm wig and this dress? It's a no. It's an absolute no. And then you got Andre over here with these skin tight clothes on that look like they're gonna bust at any minute, and these shoes with no socks. So, Tommy asked them, where do you guys stand today? Jeffrey paused, and he was like, Tommy's like, I do this. I mean, those pauses, they really say, they speak a lot. They do. So Jeffrey started talking, and Andre was like, well, I feel attacked. And Morgan was like, nobody's attacking you, right? So the reason why they're not together, and this comes from Jeffrey. Jeffrey says that, and Andre had an issue with her children, and not her children specifically, right? The fact that both of the fathers of her children are not in their lives. Now, we've definitely talked about this all season, and Jeffrey made a good point. She can't make those men be in their children's lives. That's just not something that she can do. Now, Jeffrey did say something that was like, I know where you're trying to go with this, but let's not generalize and let's not group, right? So Jeffrey's saying, don't act like black men don't do this every day. So Tony chimed in as well as Anthony chimed in, right? Tony said, let's not say all black men. Let's just say it's not all black men. Some, but not all. That is true. And Tommy then said, well, let's just stop right there. And let's just say not all black men do it. And Anthony said, men in general do that. Exactly. White men, Asian men, Hispanic men, black men, men across the board. There are some men that just don't want to be a part of their kids' lives. They just prefer to be sperm donors. Is it a right? No, but it happens, right? So honestly, when it comes down to Jeffrey and the father of her kids, because she said that, she doesn't have anything in place to say that they can't see their kids. Now, the question that I will pose, and I'm not saying that this is what she's doing, but there are some women, and again, this is not me saying, her, and mind you, I'm saying there are some, not all women, but some women do this. Some women do deliberately keep their children away from their fathers because of their relationship didn't work out, right? So it then trickles down to the children, and sometimes the kids want to see their dad, and they be like, you ain't going to see that man. And I'm not saying that that's what Jeffrey is doing. I'm just saying, just like she says, some, not all, black men are not in their children's lives. But we also have to be honest. There are some women who are spiteful, hateful, and malicious and will do anything to spite the father of their children. So I'm not saying that that's what Jeffrey's doing, but that might be. So we actually had a conversation in my comments about my truth and your truth, right? In this situation, we don't know those men's story, right? But those men very well could feel like Jeffrey is one of those women who keeps the kids away from their fathers because she doesn't like them. So when it comes to Jeffrey and the father of her children, there's Jeffrey's side and there's their side, right? And what's in the middle, I tend to find to be the truth, right? We only know Jeffrey's side. We don't know those men's side, and I don't really care to know those men's side. But for her to say that all black men are not in their kids' lives, I just didn't like that because that's not true. But let's go ahead and move on forward, you guys. So we talk about Corvea, and they show Corvea's package, and you guys know Corvea's package. Basically, it looks like Corvea was a gold digger, but I don't think that Corvea is a gold digger. I think what it is with Corvea, because she articulated it, right? She wants a go-getter. She basically, what Corvea wants is a man who has his ish together, right? Now, when she kept talking about spoiling me, there's nothing wrong with being spoiled, right? But I think where she was just coming from, I think she just didn't, in the episodes, she just didn't articulate it right? I think what she was trying to say is, I want a man that got his own, you got your own stuff. Like, when I come into the relationship, I don't have to bring anything, right? I don't have to worry about anything. I don't have to worry about, oh my God, I have to do this, I got to do that, I got to do this because my partner isn't pulling his weight, right? He isn't doing anything. He's just a bum. I think that's basically what she was saying. She just doesn't want a bum ass, broke ass nigga. Like, let's just be real. I feel like that's what Corvea was saying. So Lyndon told her when she initially started saying this stuff, it came off very negatively, right? Now, at one point, that's when they were showing the package, when they were talking about the fact that Lyndon said that Corvea told someone he tried to kiss her and that was a lie and he didn't really rock with her. So she was like, well, who even told you that? He says, well, Jeffrey said it. And Jeffrey's like, wait, did I hear my name? Oh, that baby voice gotta go. That baby voice just annoys the shit out of me, you guys. I don't know, no other nice way to say it, but that baby voice annoys the hell out of me. But I mean, Corvea is not dating anyone. You know, she is doing her. So we're gonna pause here and move forward, you guys. So next up, we move over to Lyndon, right? So we showed Lyndon when he struck out with Marcia, when he tried to kiss Marcia. We saw him when he struck out, when he tried to, see where his relationship was with Mercedes, when she friend zoned him. Then we get the love triangle with Tony, Morgan, and Lyndon. So Tony, this was his first time seeing the kiss between Lyndon and Morgan. So at first, Tony's face was kind of, it was like, what the fuck? Then he started smiling, but then it was like, again, what the fuck? When he saw that second kiss, I was like, oh, Tony, you can't, you're rattled a little bit, aren't you? But I told you that that's what Morgan was doing, and she enjoyed it, right? So Tommy asked Morgan, like, what was, asked her about how was it for her when she had to stop the journey with Lyndon, right? And she says it was rough for her. I was like, was it really? Because she still ended up choosing Tony. No disrespect, no shade, Tony, you know it. But you still chose Tony. And the thing I will say is when it comes to Lyndon and Tony, they're two different people, right? But on paper, they're still, again, two different people. But from what we saw in the show, and that's all I'm going off of, what we saw in the show, what Morgan said later in the episode is very true. From what we saw in the show, Tony is a wild card. With Lyndon, Lyndon is more of a safe bet. And I'm going to talk about that as we get into it, right? But at the end of the day, it must not have been that hard because you chose Tony and then you still ended up choosing yourself. We'll talk about that, right? So I actually have to say that I have an immense amount of respect for Lyndon because Tommy asked Lyndon, so with, you being involved with Morgan and she had a connection with Tony, were you ever intimidated? And Lyndon said, yes, he was intimidated. And obviously, right? We saw that. We could see that he was intimidated, right? And even with Tony, like I told you guys, Tony and I have had this conversation. Not Morgan, but Lyndon was intimidated, but Tony was a little jealous himself. Like, Tony played it cool in front of Lyndon, but it wasn't all that cool because you can still see it. Tony tried to play it off as if he wasn't affected. He wasn't feeling no type of way, but you could see it. It was written all over his face. So Tommy asked Tony, what did you think about the kiss, right? He said it was a bit uncomfortable to see it. I bet it was. So then Marcia, Tommy asked her about not kissing Lyndon. She really did feel bad, but I'm like, you shouldn't have felt bad. I mean, if you weren't feeling that vibe, then it is what it is, right? So, oh my God, at this point, Corvea turned around to Marcia and asked, I forgot what she asked Marcia, but it was about Lyndon kissing her. But Marcia, I forgot what Marcia said, but somehow Corvea addressed that damn Jeffrey. I was like, oh my God, why do y'all keep addressing this woman? I'm really tired of the camera panning on her in this Storm wig. But we found out Lyndon has a girlfriend, so congratulations to you, Lyndon. But let's go ahead and pause here, and I guess we're gonna try to wrap up this episode. Nah, we have two more scenes and then we'll wrap up. All right, you guys, so next up we got Blue. I ain't got much to say, because I was on Twitter this morning, and so Mr. Blue got some legal issues. So is Blue going to jail? Good luck to you, sir. So Jonique, she said that she initially liked Blue, but things changed. She said that, he wanted to continue to date her outside of the process. We found out that I think all of the men were in agreement with using the second chance on her, but Blue was the only one who didn't want to do it, right? I was like, wow, so you want her to be eliminated so you can date her outside of this process? Okay, I mean, I guess, right? So, Tommy says, can Tommy throw a curveball in here? Tommy, I got a question for you, right? If you're listening, Tommy, why do you always refer to yourself in the third person? Because can Tommy throw a curveball in here? Can Tommy do this? Can Tommy do this? Tommy got a question for you. Why do you always refer to yourself in the third person? I always wonder why people do that. Me, now when I say JB sometimes, when I refer to myself, I'm just joking. But why do people, I always cringe when people refer to themselves in the third person. That's cringy to me, right? So Tommy threw a curveball in there, all right, and let us know that Blue is dating Kayla from last season. When Randall, remember, Kayla's the one that was that was involved in the debacle of a love triangle. Oh, God, you guys. There's so many things that I have not told you guys about that shit last season with Kayla, Trinika, and Jamala. There is so much shit that I have not told you guys. And I'm not gonna tell you guys, but there was a lot of stuff that was DM'd to me, and it was about one particular person. And I'm not gonna say who the person is, but one person did not like something that was said on my channel, and she got in my DMs. And she's a cool girl. She's a cool girl. Yeah, somebody got in my DMs and let it all out. And some of the stuff that, it was a lot. It was a lot. That's the one thing. Yeah, the Rate of the Love cast, they definitely watch our video. I know they watch Misha, and I'm surprised. See, I'm always surprised when people say that they watch my videos, right? Because I know people watch Misha, rightfully so. She's amazing. I love Misha, right? I know people watch Little Black Book. He's amazing as well, right? But I'm always surprised when they find my channel, because there are so many from Rated to Love who know who I am and watch me. It's a lot of them. Some like me and some don't. That's neither here nor there, right? But yeah, I just be surprised when I'm like, y'all watch me? Me, of all people. Nothing's wrong with, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with me, but I'm just saying y'all watch me, but I appreciate some of y'all. The only two seasons that I don't know if they probably do, but again, I don't think they like me. I think there's only one person from the DC and Potomac seasons who likes me, and that's Sabrina. Because me and Sabrina, we've talked on Twitter. Sabrina Soul. But other than that, don't nobody from the DC and Potomac cast fuck with me. None of them. But yeah. So when Kayla came out, Z, ma'am, this makeup. Why are you still wearing this god awful makeup? Oh, Jesus. And then up under her eyes, I was like, ma'am, you are so light right here. Why? So I know she was tweeting last night, and I didn't see all the tweets, but I guess she was trying to say that this is alleged, because this is her story, not Blue's. That Blue asked her to come to the reunion and pretend like they were in a relationship with each other. I don't care. Let's pause here and wrap up the episode. All right, you guys. So I'm just gonna breeze through this with Pick Me Susu and Blake. They're in a relationship. Pick Me Susu, get a better wig, sis, because I literally saw the wig. Just saying, I saw the wig. You can see the wig. Get a better wig. So then we end the episode with the love triangle between Morgan, Tony, and Lyndon. We really could have X'd Lyndon out, but it was a triangle. So Tommy asked Morgan what was it about Lyndon. She couldn't really vocalize what it was, but he's a good person. So she said the reason why she was more attracted to Tony is because Tony was more aggressive. I was like, I think we all knew that. And that was my issue when it came to Morgan. Morgan kept talking about how Tony was making her look like an ass, making her do this and do that. He wasn't making you do anything. You made yourself look a certain type of way. And Tony was more aggressive towards you, right? Okay. I don't think, I didn't really see I didn't see the aggression. I'm sorry. Y'all know I got to keep it real. I didn't really see the aggression with Tony. Now, if there was some stuff behind the scenes that we didn't see, which I know there is, and some things Tony has told me but I'll if he comes on the channel, I'll let him decide if he wants to tell you guys some of the things. But we have talked about some of the stuff that did happen behind the scenes. But as far as the aggressive side, for the longest time, and like I said, for the longest time with Tony, I think Tony, because we all know, Tony had the two connections between Morgan and Marcia. And I've said it plenty of times. He was more connected to Marcia. It was not Morgan. It wasn't Morgan. He was always more connected to Marcy. Let's just be real about that. But I think for me, what it was, I don't think he ever, for me personally, let's just be real. When it comes down to Tony, I believe he was, like I said, he was more connected to Marcia. I don't think he ever really wanted to make a choice between Morgan and Marcia. And I think that's why in the episodes, it would seem like Tony would be like 1 minute, oh, telling Marcy, oh, Morgan is doing this and Morgan is doing that. And then telling Marcia, oh, well, Morgan is doing this and Morgan is showing me that she likes me, right? I feel like it came down to a situation of, yes, Tony was like, okay, I like Marcia and I like Morgan. They both have different qualities of which I like, right? But I feel like Tony never really wanted to definitively make that decision to say, Morgan, I like you, but I really rock with Marcia more. That's the vibe that I get. Let me know if you guys if you guys agree with me. And Tony, I know you're watching, so I know you're gonna hit me in the DMs. But that's just the vibe that I got, right? So, and that's why I say I don't think he was really like, she says he was aggressive. I don't think he was. I think when you started to see the aggression that you're talking about, it was when you pursued Lyndon. That was when you really saw the aggression, but it wasn't aggression in the way that you think it was. It was the aggression because you were playing them against one another, and Tony not trying to show his cards. He would, he was hiding the fact that, yeah, her, being all up under him, yeah, it does bother me. That's where you saw the aggression, not him pursuing you. It was the fact that you had another connection that wasn't him. That's really what it is. Let's be real about it. So Tommy says that so you did end up picking yourself, right? Now I did miss something, so I'm gonna go right back. So we talk about the fact that Tony told Morgan, not Morgan, but Lyndon, that he could have Marcia, he could have Morgan if Marcia was there. But that actually just go back to what I just said a few minutes ago, right? That Tony never really wanted to make a decision between Morgan and Marcia. So Tommy asked him, did he say it? He said, yeah. He says, why did you say it? And I've even asked Tony that too. Why did you say that? Like, why? It made no sense, right? So we found out that even after Morgan chose herself on the finale, her and Tony still dated. I'm so glad that Tony even can say they're toxic, because y'all 100% are toxic, right? Now, Tony, you're my boy, and I'm gonna call you, I don't have a problem with saying how I feel, right? So when you sat there and said that, you got so entrenched in, well, basically, so what he was saying is they don't go out on a date. He has his kids and he works, right? I gotta be Team Morgan on this part, right? When you said that, honestly, that was a cop out. Because true, we all have, things going on in our lives, right? We have, some people have kids, a job, whatever else, right? But if you are truly intentional about dating someone or getting to know someone, you're going to iron out some time. You're gonna be like, okay, babe, you know what? I get off work tomorrow at 4:30, right? I gotta go to, I gotta do stuff for the kids. So let's just plan for you know, you come over to the house, right? I'm gonna cook dinner for you. We ain't gotta go nowhere. Once the kids go to sleep, you know, you can come over. We can have dinner. We can, you know, we can watch a movie. We can do something intimate in the house. So, yeah, I just don't. I think that was a bit of a cop out. Now, for Morgan to call him a monster, no, no, he's not a monster. If anybody's a monster, I'm not gonna let you forget that you narrowed your ex-boyfriend's hair and you found it kind of funny. Just saying. But that's all I got, you guys. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Subscribe to the channel, turn your post notifications on. Share the video, you guys. And until the next time, stay safe, take care of yourselves, wash your hands, be blessed. And I'll see you guys in the next one.